And good day, everybody. I want to welcome you to thegolfdirector.com. This is Tech Talk with Al Cloyd. Dr. Grind is in the house. Good morning, Al.
Good morning. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Of course, I'm your co-host, let's say, one of three, George Honeycutt, and with us, as always, our playing professional and director of golf out at the South Carolina Golf Center, Mr. Hugh Roy III himself. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, buddy. You?
Good to see you. Al, what are we going to talk about today?
Putters.
Putters. Well, we got the man here to talk about it, Mr. Yuli Taylor.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. And let me get, briefly, everyone, let me give you the story about Yuli. Yuli plays with me every Saturday in the Saturday golf group that I talk about on Monday mornings here on Monday Morning Golf Wrap. And Yuli, several weeks ago, attended a birthday party, and we did a raffle at this birthday party to raffle off a radius roll putter. A radius roll putter, of course, we've talked about radius roll several times on this program. And, of course, once Yuli bought his raffle ticket, we pretty much knew the raffle was over at that point because Yuli wins everything.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how many tickets you buy. It doesn't matter. There's only one other person I think that would win more than you, and that would be Jim Oakes.
Absolutely.
So, but again, Yuli ends up, of course, winning the radius roll putter, and that also included a custom fitting.
Yes, it did.
And so he went over and visited with Al over at the Fitting Works, and Al got him fitted for a radius roll, and y'all selected which putter, and how did all that work out?
I selected the money putter, and it works out great for me.
How does that not surprise me?
Well, I mean,
the money putter.
Money comes to money.
That's it.
So, I mean, you know, it's is that the mallet head or
Yep.
Yeah, is that what you selected?
You got it, Al?
I sure do.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the and again, radius roll has the 0.84 radius on the front of it, which is the same diameter as the golf ball.
Yes.
So I saw you out doing your putting with the different models and things of that sort. You immediately picked up on the fact the way the ball jumps off the putter head.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It really does.
And then what did you do as far as fitting to get him?
Made sure he had the correct length so that his posture was good. And then we looked at lie angle. So he just needed a couple degrees adjustment, toe down a little bit, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correct.
And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
How's your use of it been?
Oh, it's been excellent. I haven't three-putted a green in God knows when. So
That's
the money,
impressive.
Yes.
Well, I had two the other day on my own. I'm supposed to be a pro.
No, but seriously, it really works. I mean, in comparison to the other club, the other putter that I was using, when you hit this ball, I mean, it jumps right off the club face, and it goes. You know, as you indicated when we were doing the demonstration,
Right.
the ball goes where that putter is aiming.
Right.
It's amazing.
Now you have pretty much a straight back, straight through putting stroke, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But I've developed some bad habits, and part of the bad habits, I think, is turning my wrist a little bit. And when you do that, you know, the putter will talk to you.
Oh, yes.
It'll tell you.
It doesn't matter what putter it is.
It doesn't matter what putter it is,
Yeah.
but with this one, it'll definitely tell you.
Yeah.
But it's a learning process, and you can see it as you're using the putter. You come straight back and straight through, and if you keep it low, that ball will just run perfectly
Well,
to
you
where
made a
you're
good
aiming.
point if you keep it low.
Yes, very much so.
And you're talking about not picking up the putter head on your backstroke.
Exactly.
Yeah, just keeping it low across the ground and then just coming back through it.
I've tried it. I've used it on a couple of occasions and did some things that I know that were wrong, but just to see what the ball would do. And if you lift it up and you come down on it, the ball will hop and skip and do everything that it's not supposed to do. But
Right. Well,
if you keep it
you're
low,
basically counteracting what
Exactly.
the face is.
exactly.
Is that right, Al?
That's exactly correct.
Now, Al, last week you brought up, or our last show that we did, I apologize, our last show, you brought up loft and lie and things of that sort on a putter,
Yes.
which not
Yes.
too many amateurs know about.
That's correct.
So let's go into that a little bit,
Sure.
and then we'll transition into the different heads and grips and all this other stuff.
No problem whatsoever. Well, with way most putters are set up, they typically have a loft of 4 degrees on them. Let me grab one right here so I can show you. This is a great putter right here. This one was designed by Lamont Mann of Mancrafted. Me and him worked together on this putter design, and great piece. It has 4 degrees aloft, and the loft comes from the bottom of the club to the top club line. So that's how you'll determine your loft. There's occasions when the person does not need 4 degrees aloft. If they have excessive forward press or excessive reverse press, then you would adjust the putter accordingly so that they have an optimal 4 degrees aloft at impact. 4 degrees is the number that gets the ball out of its own weight and gets it rolling. Well, with the radius roll, with it being the diameter of the ball, it gets it rolling a little quicker. These type putters will tend to hop about once, maybe twice, and then start tracking, where the radius roll tends to start tracking a little quicker than a traditional putter. But and then lie angle is just basically how the club's setting to the ground. So when you're setting up, if the toe's way up, that you're not looking for something like that, or if the heel's way up, you're looking for a nice flush setting. And so that's basically what your loft on the putter is doing for you, and what the lie on the putter is doing for you.
All right. So, and Lamont, of course, in his custom fitting, you basically provide him the information, and then he goes through calculations just like you do to determine what to be the best.
Yes.
Because my loft is 3.5 on my Lamont man.
Yeah, mine's 4.
So
mine's 4.
But I do keep my hands back and things of this sort. So again, Mickelson with a big forward press, then there would need to be adjustments there too, right?
He probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of 5.
Yeah,
You have to add
exactly.
loft.
Because, by the time he forward presses, he's de-lofting the club. So
Right.
that's the case. But the thing is with the radius roll is, it already has the bulge and roll, so there is no loft. This is more based off of actual science and physics than playability from a straight face type putter.
Right,
So it's
right.
two different animals.
One thing I noticed, Yuli, with you, and when you won the radius roll, of course, you were all excited. It's a $300, $400 putter.
Absolutely.
And so and you got a lot of joking about it. And, oh, great, good. Yuli already wins every week. Why does he need something else?
That's just George complaining, folks. I promise you.
I think he wanted it.
Well, I
Yes,
was
he
the only
did.
one out of 30. I was the only one out of 30 players. Yeah, I've been trying to steal it now for 6 weeks.
I know.
I've never seen trucks slamming so fast after a round of golf in my life.
Hey, they go run into the car. Where's George? Where's George?
Yuli used to take his bag to the bag drop and then go in and have a beer. Not anymore.
Mama drowned all the doubles.
I love it.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. When you got the putter, I played with you just about every other week, I think. We end up getting paired together or whatever.
True.
And I noticed your 5 to 6 footers. With your other putter, it was, okay, am I coming across it? Am I towing it over? Am I doing this? But since you got this radius roll, your confidence level within 5, 6 feet has grown dramatically.
The club, I think, sort of does that for you. It's because you know automatically when you're hitting the ball wrong. And like I was indicating to you before, I haven't 3-putted, which says to me that I'm getting closer to the hole. I'm not going to say that I make every putt.
Right.
That would be ridiculous.
Right.
I'd love to be able to say that, Al, but I can't.
Right.
But at least as soon as you strike that ball, where it's going to go, if it's off, why it's off, and it helps you to correct it.
Feel and feedback.
Exactly.
Feel and feedback.
Yes.
Feel and feedback.
And
Without a
granted,
doubt.
everybody's different, and certain putters are for certain people.
Right.
And so,
Right.
Yuli's found the one that for him is kind of that, that special antidote or whatever that gives him the confidence to do what he needs to do.
Al, you brought up something last program and feeling feedback and all that, but something that also I think contributes to him not 3-putting is the dispersion pattern coming off of this radius roll versus other putters.
Correct.
Your misses aren't
tighter.
as
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Very,
your
very good
misses
point,
aren't
yes.
as far
I've noticed that.
than let's say he reads the wrong line or whatever. I'm not saying this putter's going to read the line for
That's
you.
true.
But it just seems like that his control of speed, he doesn't have to worry about that so much. He can figure out his speed in his mind off the line, and then he just goes and stays committed to the line. Maybe it was a bad read. Well, that's up to him. The putter can't read the putt.
Exactly.
But you know what's really interesting too, George, is the fact that when you get into the first cut, I like to use a putter in the first cut.
Right.
And
Which more amateurs need to do.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
true. But one of the things that I found out is that the ball will roll truer coming out of the first cut.
That's
Okay.
one of the very first things we noticed when in
That's
testing.
you're right.
Yeah.
That's a pretty substantial statement right there.
Sure,
absolutely.
And it just makes what happened in the U.S. Open.
Yes.
Watching that, I mean, the man was putting from 15 yards off the green.
Exactly.
That's right.
So it
And,
just
and,
it shows.
and really it won it for Martin.
Yeah.
I mean, versus others like we saw Dustin Johnson trying to use a 60 degree and chip it from 4 feet off and he coming up and chunking it. Where Keimer was just simply playing the course conditions that were in front of him and keeping the ball on the ground as much as possible.
And that's what Yuli's saying there. I mean, he's got more confidence now coming out of the fringe and the whatever,
Absolutely.
or putting out of the fairway through the fringe and on the green because he knows how the ball's going to react off the putter face.
Exactly.
And so, you find what gives you confidence and you run with it until the thing's dead.
Yeah.
You run yourself ragged with it because if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
That's exactly
Yeah,
correct.
that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
I agree with that.
You're going into some. I saw you holding up something. We found a little something you were given a club earlier this week. We talked in the past about back-weighted putters, and I don't want to get off this program, Al, until we talk about back-weighted putters. It's a current trend. It's growing in vast popularity. I was at one of the big box retailers yesterday. I stopped by. I went back to their putter section, and each brand putter had at least 2, if not 5, back-weighted models.
That's correct.
Each brand.
Each brand. It's
So,
went across the board.
It's got across the board now. Everybody has to provide a back-weighted putter. Explain real quick what a back-weighted putter is.
Sure. Well, with a back-weighted putter, a normal putter is 35 inches long, where the back-weighted putter is 38 inches long. They have anywhere between 25 to 50 grams extra weight put in the butt end of the shaft. This one right here actually has one in it. And when I brought one in to show the viewers what a counterweight looks like, now they do come in different shapes and different forms, but this particular counterweight right here weighs 24 grams.
Okay.
Okay, so this actually gets inserted, right down into the shaft, and there's one in this one right now. And then the head needs to be made heavier to account for the weight put into the end of the shaft. So a lot of the manufacturers are doing 25 grams heavier here and 25 grams heavier here and as much as 50 grams heavier here and 50 grams heavier here.
Really?
So the average is really 50 and 50. The head's 50 grams heavier.
Wow.
And
Hence
the
the word
counterweights.
balance.
Hence the word balance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then we're running a longer grip. Most of the grips that are used on these are 15-inch grips, and the reason being is because you'll actually choke down on this thing about 3 inches when you putt with it, so that the counterweight is actually way above your hands. And that's the trend with these style putters. And basically what happened is...
Let me ask the obvious dumb question. I consider myself a pendulum putter. And versus as you commented last show, a toe over. Is that what you roll in the putter?
Inside out. Yeah,
Inside
like
out?
Crenshaw style
Okay.
stroke. Yeah.
So a back-weighted putter for me seems like the pendulum effect would be most advantageous to use a back-weighted putter.
It would.
Is
It
that
would,
right?
Because you're more straight back, straight through.
Okay.
Exactly.
Where if I'm Crenshawing it, if I'm really trying to go out to in to out, whatever.
It's going to eliminate the fact of that toe being able to open and close because the counterbalance, hence, like we said, balance. The putter is so much in line to where it goes more straight back and straight through instead of on an arc.
Okay. All right. So if I am a real handsy type of putter,
You don't want to counterbalance.
exactly. That's what I was getting to.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And then
okay.
we were talking about in our last show is there's 3 style putters. You have the old toe down style putter, which was around forever. Basically, the balance of this one, you can see the toes just slam down.
That's my Sears Craftsman model.
That's my
This is
old cash-ins.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is. This is an old cash in. Was a great putter in its day, very sought after. And then you move from that into what we call a quarter hang. And this one from Lamont is an excellent example of a quarter hang. So if you'll notice, it hangs down about a quarter of the way. This is for a slightly different putting stroke. This was kind of an inside and down the line. Most players use this style putter because they prefer the plumber's neck.
Boy, he makes a beautiful putter.
Which I
doesn't he?
like. He really does.
He
Man,
makes a
gifted-
beautiful.
He's a gifted
Yeah.
craftsman.
He's
He's
a
a gifted
genius.
craftsman,
Yeah.
very much. And then we come to like the style that Yuli. This one here is a face balanced putter. So when you set it up, it's very balanced. And this is for more of a pendulum type stroke. backwards and forwards. So that you want to find a putter that suits your stroke.
Okay. So basically, it doesn't matter if it's mallet or blade or whatever. It's just whatever feels good with your particular stroke. But now you have the back-weighted option.
Yes.
So, and again, Al, should I just walk into a big box retailer or even walk into your trailer? And should I say, okay, just give me a back-weighted putter and one size fits all?
No.
Okay.
No. It's called being fitting. It's called taking 30 minutes to an hour, getting yourself in front of someone that knows what in the Sam Hill they're doing, and allow them to do their job to help you find what will best suit your game, and obviously what's comfortable to and looks good to your eye.
Right.
Yes.
And I mean, it just takes a little bit of time. You know,
It really
don't just
does.
walk in and say, okay, I'm going to try this. I mean, take the time and let somebody do what they know how to do.
Well, I noticed when you fitted Yuli, literally you were working on moving the toe down microscopically, like, 1 degree. And once you made that adjustment, then, you just saw his confidence level that putter was coming through just so flush every time. It was amazing.
It fits you. It fits your body style, your stroke. And I mean, again, that's why I say, I don't care if it's your irons, if it's a driver, or if it's a putter. Get yourself fitted and find out what you need and what best suits your game.
Yeah,
I mean, we all want to play better.
Yes, exactly.
So why not just take the extra time and do what's right?
People will spend so much time and effort on drivers.
Yeah.
They'll spend
Yes.
a fortune on a driver.
Right.
But yet, if you look at how many times per round you're actually using that driver versus how many times you're using the putter, me personally, I'd rather put more emphasis on the putter than the driver. Not
It's
saying the
40%
driver's
of your
not
game.
important.
It's 40% of your score.
Yeah.
And no offense, I say it goes putter, then it goes to the wedges.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
you don't have the proper wedges with the proper bounce and what you need, I mean,
Line going.
that's where your frustration
correct.
comes
Yes.
from.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, 60% of your game is short game.
Yeah.
So
Yes, sir.
it's amazing. When you sit and break down the
100%
scores.
of George's, but that's
I brought in a couple more
Can't carve
putters.
dead wood, baby.
no, ain't carved
Can't
dead
carve
wood.
dead wood.
Couple more, just kind of as a show and tell. These have been banned and outlawed now. But this was your typical long putter. These were around for quite a while. Senior Tour started using them, ladies started using them, and then they kind of rolled over to the PGA Tour. With the changing of the rules and anchoring laws, these things are basically becoming obsolete. So they make good dust collectors now, and they're good to look at. This one was designed by Karsten Solheim. Beautiful design, but really not usable anymore.
Well, again, it's just a broomstick now.
It's a cane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all it is.
Yeah.
Help George
And
get
then-
up down the hills.
Then after that, they started going into belly putters. So the belly putter would actually anchor somewhere pretty close to your belly button, maybe a little above it, maybe a little below it, depending upon your posture. And that was the next trend.
Or now you can use that length like your Matt Kuchar, for example, that anchors up against his forearm. But not to the
But
elbow.
not to the elbow, right?
But not the
And
elbow.
and there,
you've gotta-
several of them are going to that.
Yeah, and you've really got to change your loft on the putter when you're doing that.
And
It makes a big difference.
I have to wonder, Al, too, when you sit and look at the weight and the overall feel of that, if that didn't kind of get the back-weighted aspect started,
I feel it did.
marketing-wise. Again, the pros have been doing this stuff for years. I mean, we talked about back-weighting and Jack and, how he used to back-weight his grips, and now he's come out with his own grips. And you showed me something yesterday at the trailer I thought was real interesting, and I picked up on it. First thing I saw it was a lead cap on top of a leather grip.
That's correct.
And, so that's back-weighting from the 20s.
You got it.
We got to get this to Mitch
Yeah.
Lawrence, our Hickory Club guru,
Oh,
and
Mitch will
have
go
him
nuts
see
over
that.
that.
Yeah. But
It's been
folks,
around
if you
for a
can,
long time.
if you can pick it up on the camera, there is actually a lead-poured cap sitting on top of that leather wrap on this. This is a 2-iron from the 20s, hickory shafted, of course, and so that tells us right there that back-weighting has been around for quite some time, and it's not just the putters, but also, too, we now have back-weighted grips and all of that. Hugh, as a player, what is a back-weighted grip on an iron going to do for me?
To be perfectly honest with you, George, it's not going to do anything but basically make the club have less feel.
Okay.
To me, it takes the weight out of what I feel like. You know how I changed shafts, a few months ago, and in my irons, and I found a shaft that gave me the feel of what the titanium that I used to use when I was on tour gave me, which I could feel the head basically through impact. Where now shafts have gotten so boardy feeling, where it's almost like you're swinging a broom handle through, and it doesn't really matter what stiffness you're swinging. So counterbalancing it takes the feel out of the head and puts it more in the grip.
That's great.
Okay.
And that's kind of my argument with the whole thing.
But I grew up, in my years of growing up, you wanted to find a club that you could feel the head. You could feel the head through impact. You knew when you had a good shot. You knew when you got the vibrations up the forearms into the elbows, especially in the wintertime when you're going, oh, damn, because I hit a bad shot. But that was because, all of your feel was in the head.
Yes.
So this back weighting just kind of takes it out of that and puts it into the grip.
And it actually lightens the head.
Oh, yes.
Actually lightens the head.
Yes.
Now, would it increase swing speed?
It's a possibility it could.
It's a possibility, but it's minute, very minute.
Yeah.
Why did Jack use it? I mean, what
Field
was
purposes. He likes a different
purposes?
feel.
Yeah. He didn't need to feel that head.
I mean, you
so
look
much.
you look at the, he used McGregor for years, and McGregor, they were making, their plant was in Albany, Georgia, which hour and a half south of Columbus, where I grew up.
Right.
And go down there and had a set of clubs. Clay Long made me a set of clubs one year to try when the whole square groove thing came out, and Ping was bound and determined to sue.
Right.
And so they made them, but they could never get them heavy enough.
Right.
Because the heads, the way they made them was off of what Mr. Nicholas liked, so the heads were lighter.
Right.
So you didn't have the feel.
Right.
You put an X1 in them, which is what I played in my others, and I mean, honest to goodness, it felt like I was swinging a broom handle. It just, you couldn't feel the ball or the head, and it made you flail at it.
Sure.
So that was kind of my thing. So I went back to
Well, if that was how you felt about it, think what the amateur thought.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Yeah. I mean, we're growing up hitting blades, the Wilson FG17.
That's exactly right.
Tour blades.
8802.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're sitting here going, ooh, look, I got a brand new set of blades, and I'm a 25 handicapper.
Well, those are the first clubs, believe it or not, that I ever swung, that I ever got, was Wilson Staff. They were blades.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to the point where if I could play with those, I could just about play with anything.
Yeah, it's the truth. And that's one reason why when Carson Solheim came out with Ping, once everybody got over the fact, it's not forged, it's a cast club,
right?
But they were easy to hit.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, that's where Ping went through the roof. And
they
then
were
all
the
of a
first
sudden,
game improvement club.
no
There's
question.
no doubt about it.
No question.
No question.
And so that's, that was that. And the perimeter weighting and everything that he put into it made it easier for the average golfer to hit a golf shot and to enjoy the game.
Right.
And he took it to another level when he came out with the I-2 for the better players. And, they came, Gary Hart came to see me during the Southern Open when I was in college and said, hey, Bill Weir wants to fit you. Let's go take a look. And he watched me hit about 15 balls. He goes, that's all I need to see. And I had my clubs 3 days later.
That's amazing.
And amazing if you go with forged clubs, it'd have taken 6 weeks to,
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
to 2 months.
absolutely.
And I was with Ping up until 1996.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things that, you found something that worked, and then they made a better club that everybody could play with. Not just the average golfer, but the professionals as well.
And now we walk into a big box retailer or whatever, or we go see Al and his vast computer.
And 90% of the clubs in there are perimeter weighted cavity backs.
That's right. But I was trying to get to the confusion part of it. I mean, again, there's just so much available. We're talking about putters now. The big thing is modular mechanics. Being able to take a face off and put a face on, or, the drivers, move the weights and move the bar and move all this and change the head. And, you got 46,000 combinations that you can change your club. Okay, great. The amateur player has no freaking clue. He just spent $4.99.
That's exactly right.
He just spent $4.99. He's got the wrench, and then he goes and he can't figure out in his Saturday group why this thing's heading dead right, only going 110 yards.
Yeah, you can have all the technology, but if it's not fitted to you, it's just not. You're not getting the use out of it that should be gotten.
Well, I laugh at a young gentleman we play with, and simply stated, he's got one of the latest and greatest drivers that you can manipulate, and he was asking me, of all people, hey, why am I not hitting this with more of a draw, and why is it not going farther?
Exactly.
And he shows me the head, and he says, I got it set on this. I said, I don't care. let me see the shaft.
Exactly. Exactly.
He goes, why you want to see the shaft? I said, what do you think's hitting the ball? It's not the head. I said, they're all pretty much the same thinness as far as the face and the trampoline effect. And
COR,
there may be one a little bit lower center of gravity than the other, a little bit higher center of gravity.
That's it.
But however, you're not to the level of skill like a Hugh that you could even tell the difference.
Exactly.
What's more important is that damn shaft.
Yep.
And another comment too was he's a hockey player. He's got very large hands. He had the wrong grip. He just had a standard grip on his club.
Yeah.
He had the wrong grip.
Well, it's funny.
So-
You ask Al, but I come in there and we do grips. I'm like, dude, don't even bother. I'll do it when I get home. I mean,
Well, we
my
can't
grips,
all do
people
that.
grab mine and they go, are you kidding me?
Right.
My hands are
Right.
so big. I mean, I got 10 wraps under mine.
That's right.
So
That's
again,
right.
I've got to have a heavier
Yeah.
weighted club in the head to
compensate for the
for the
wraps.
counterbalance
Sure.
of the wrap.
Absolutely.
I hope our amateur audience, the golfing audience, is getting the indication. Again, Al's led us into putting and clubs, and we love these shows. Al, you teach us so much, and
I enjoy it.
It's amazing, but. There's a lot to it. If you're going to invest in a new set of clubs, if you're going to invest in a replacement set, if you're going to buy a putter, if you're going to get a driver, if you're going to get the latest and greatest, go to the one step extra that if you're going to spend this money, spend it wisely. Because I was just on one of those internet resale sites yesterday. I have in my possession a brand spanking new driver that's a manipulated driver. It's got the head cover, it's got the wrench and all that, and this driver is 11 months old. Okay, it's only been hit 5 times.
Okay.
I looked on this internet site yesterday, and that driver is worth $28.
Isn't that amazing?
$28.
Yes.
And from a
Absolutely.
This driver
major
was
manufacturer.
$399,
Yes.
brand spanking new.
Right.
So when I drove it off the lot, that thing dropped in value
It's just like buying a new car, bro.
98.7%.
Yeah.
It's just like
When I
driving
drove-
a new car.
It's crazy, and the vast numbers. Al was showing me this the other day. Just the vast numbers of clubs that are on these internet sites that are for sale because people buy them. They
Yes.
go and they get them as a present or a gift. They talk
Exactly
the
correct.
kids into buying it for them or
Yep.
whatever, and then they can't use it. It's not for them. Why? The shaft's wrong. The grip's wrong. It's not the head. It's not the color. It doesn't matter if it's red or black or white. It doesn't hit any different.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just because it wasn't fitted. And so you need to go to the time and the effort and the expense because your guys' time doesn't come cheap. Believe me, I know that. So it's just best to do if you're going to get the most enjoyment out of this game.
And 2 more things that I wanted to bring up, while we're discussing putters, is one is putter customization as far as cosmetics goes. That's been really big in the industry now. Like, for instance, this Scotty Cameron, he has his own custom shop in California. You can send him in and have him do his personal stamps. This one right here, which they probably can't see, has like a little dollar sign stamped on the toe of it. And then the weights and the
Yuli
sole
needs
of it.
that.
Yep, and the weights and the sole have also been custom stamped.
Not
Right.
anymore. no.
So it's there's a lot of the putter manufacturers now are starting to offer where you can take your existing putter, send it to them, and have them customized.
Al, you do that.
But we do that. That's
You do
correct.
that.
So I brought
At Grind
a
Golf.
couple putters to show. Here's one really simple putter. This one's a Billy Brew 3, old Ray Cook.
Billy.
Billy.
Oh, Billy. Come on, Billy.
And this one here's been powder coated. It has a fairly loud color.
I'd use that.
Yep, with a powder coated shaft.
I'd look good in that.
And a grip that kind of accents it. And now another big thing that's happening is the hydro dipping.
What'd you call me?
Hydro dipping.
Okay.
George, you would need a man purse to go with that
I
putter.
know that's right.
Immerse.
Oh, look at here. George's got all upset over that one.
Yeah, he's got all of it.
Somebody shut his mic off in the booth.
There you go. This putter right here has been prepped, painted, and then dipped. And if you'll notice, it actually has a pattern on it of dollar bills or $100 bills.
Yeah, that's
actually.
pretty neat.
You can do everything from carbon fiber to flames to skulls and crossbones, Hello Kitty, camouflage, you name it. So this is, I think, is going to really expand and grow in the industry. You can do it on driver heads.
Is that like a shrink wrap?
No, sir. It's nowhere even close. With what happens with the hydro dipping is there's a gigantic tank that's filled with water. You have to have a base coat on whatever you're dipping because the actual film, it's the paint film, is transparent.
Ah.
Okay. So
there has to be a back color.
There has to be a back color. Once you have the back color, then the paint is actually in rolls. So what you do is you unroll that roll so that it floats on top of the water. And then you prep the head with the proper prepping, and then you dip it down into it, and it just wraps and adheres right to the head.
Oh,
And it's
Really?
really neat. Even the grip
That's
on
pretty
this one
cool.
has been
That's
done.
neat.
That's pretty cool.
So you can kind of see the seam on, where it lined up. And you can see more of this at Bandit Golf in North Myrtle Beach.
Bandit Golf.
Yep, Bobby down there.
Are you doing this now, Al, or?
Yeah, I'm working with Bobby now. So we're kind of working together. The shaft on that one has been powder coated green, to kind of theme the money.
Right.
And you can get, like I say, we can do pretty much anything. You can come and see me, at Al's Custom Golf, or you can go down and see Bobby at Bandit Golf. It's just something different, something new, and we're finding that people are really starting to dig it.
That's very interesting.
Right.
I guess you can do a lot of sports themes and.
That's correct. Yeah, military themes.
Right.
We've already got people wanting.
Well, you could do one for the golf director.
Yeah, could do anything.
Yeah.
It's the door's wide open. And
That's
it's
pretty neat.
And it's just kind of a it's a trend that's been growing and growing and growing.
Maybe you need that as a reminder that you need to pay your caddy. So, all right, moving on. Thanks all with Al Cloyd. This again, Al. You just inundated us with information today. You've got some grips here.
Got some grips.
These are the various.
What, did you go to the Bad Kitty and get this thing?
Bad
Kitty. Jeez,
This was their extra large size.
Yeah.
But
That's
so
what
when
you
we
said.
that's what he said. So in
That's what I
putter
tell them every
grips, that's right. The trends have changed a lot in putter grips. A lot of people are going with the larger putter grips to take their hands out of the stroke.
Exactly.
And it's a trend that works. This is actually one of the biggest ones that we have. So I brought
That
this
is
one
to
in.
stop from the wrist breaking down during the
Stop
stroke.
wrist breaking
Okay.
down. It does a good job of it. I know a lot of people that really enjoy them. Now you do lose a little bit of feel because there's more material in the grip. But this is
That's been my finding. I've tried a few of those. I can't feel the head of the club.
Yep.
And you know me, I'm a handsy guy. So
the
I
problem
like
is the problem is a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of them are
Yeah.
a little bit the weight on them you have to really be aware of.
Yep, it's true.
In some cases, you're actually counterweighting your putter by putting one of these grips on there.
And if you're not adjusting the head, then you're defeating yourself.
You're defeating yourself. That's
That's
correct.
right.
So there's a lot of give and take,
if
cause and
you're
effect.
adding weight up the top, you need to add weight at the bottom.
That's
Okay.
exactly right. And then they do kind of a mid-size. This is their mid-size grip right here.
Right,
I like the size on it, and then that's their large. Their large grip.
right.
So, and you can see it's pretty
Your
significant.
KJ Choi model.
Yep. And then the one of the largest, and this is their biggest one. This is one they call the Fatso 5.0, and this thing's a monster.
I could have used that Tuesday to beat you over the head with. So, yeah.
So, and then here's just a few from Wynn, just to kind of give you an idea. This is a standard diameter grip for the viewers. This one right here is a mid-size grip for the viewers. This right here is a jumbo, or what they call oversized.
Right.
That's mine.
Yep. And then the big, this one right here, they actually call a giant, which is about as big as you can get. So if you're going up in putter size, you don't have to jump all the way to the biggest grip out there. And it might not necessarily be the answer for you. It may be a mid-size. If you take a standard grip and you're just wanting something just a little bit bigger, you go to a mid-size, don't go to the biggest thing out there.
Right.
So there you can make little adjustments instead of making gigantic leaps.
Hey, dude, before I knew you, back in Atlanta, Super Stroke came out, and I went down to my big box retailer. I had to have one. It was the latest thing. I want to be right there on leading edge. Went out and bought one, put it on my favorite putter. Didn't do a damn thing for me.
Yeah.
I had no feel. I couldn't get the distance right. It was almost like I was starting all over again. And so I literally, not having your expertise of club repair, I just took a razor blade and just hacked it off and put a conventional grip back on, just hoping that I could get the feel back.
Yeah.
And so that was my stupidity, though. That had nothing to do with the
But
product.
and I know we've got to wrap this up, but looking at these bigger grips, I mean, that's what you're trying to do is take the feel of the hands out of it. That's why you put it on there.
Quit breaking the wrist
That's a
down
good
and
point.
maybe get rid of the
That's
ribs.
the only reason you put it on
Get
there is
rid of
to
the
take
yips.
your hands
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Well, one of the things that I found out, and I'm like you, I've got fairly big hands as well, and a small grip, I just feel like, I can't get comfortable with it. But with a bigger grip, I mean, not something as gigantic as this, but something like this, to me, it feels good in my hands,
Sure.
and I can wrap around it.
Sure.
And again,
You don't
take
feel like
the-
you're holding a toothpick.
Exactly correct.
Yeah. Guys, Al, informative again, buddy.
I enjoy it so
You've done
much, so much. I mean, putters, you could go and keep going and keep going and keep going. It's just there's a lot
Tech
of
Talk with Al
technology.
Cloyd. It's always just super educational, and I so much appreciate it.
I
Yuli
appreciate
Taylor,
it.
thanks for coming in
Oh,
today.
thank you so much for having me.
Great
guys.
for having you.
I really appreciate it.
You're welcome anytime, bud. Never mind.
Don't worry about it.
Hugh Roy III, thank you, brother.
No, you got it, my bud.
All right, great show. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on Tech Talk with Al Cloyd, brought to you by, of course, thegolfdirector.com, produced and sent worldwide by the Zeus Radio Network.
All right.